welcome. So yes, my name's Claire Currie and I'm here to welcome you today to the MSc Diagnostic Imaging, and just really to hopefully introduce myself, introduce the programme a little, and so that you can get to know us a little bit more before you arrive with us in September. Okay, so please feel free to note down my email address and email me if you have any questions that come up later. That's absolutely fine, and I will respond to you via email within 3 working days. So do take a note of that email address. And this is the rest of the team that I work with in our diagnostic imaging department. Of course, when you do come to the university, you'll meet lots of other staff members like Charlotte and her team. And in your research module, you'll meet lecturers from other disciplines as well. So we're really all looking forward to welcoming you to Glasgow, and we are a very dedicated team. We're very friendly, and we like to meet everybody. So the people here today will be all looking at the MSc Diagnostic Imaging full-time programme, but you will be in classes along with some of our part-time students, and that's a great opportunity for you to be able to meet students from Scotland as well, local home students, and get to know about our practices here in Scotland. And we do have different options on our modules, and you'll probably be starting to think about which module choices you'll be taking in the next few weeks. And towards the start of trimester, we will be sending you a module option form and to help you to choose your modules. I'm going to speak a little bit more just now about what our choices are in our modules. And these are the programme aims. I'll not read through all of these, but really we're here to help you develop to be the best radiographer you can, and really to contribute to healthcare, whether that is in the UK or home or globally. We just want you to be great radiographers. Okay, so when you first arrive with us in Glasgow, your first module for all students is Advanced Research Methods. And this is an interprofessional module, but you will be in your tutor class with your fellow radiographers and full-time diagnostic imaging full-time students in your tutor group. And then in the wider class, you'll meet lots of other professions as well. So it is a blended learning module, and a lot of your lectures might be already recorded and online, and that gives you plenty of time to learn all those methods and research methods, and really develop your writing skills across the programme right from the start. Usually there is a Tuesday on campus for the tutorials, but that is subject to change. And then you have a choice for your other module that you'll do in trimester A, and you can choose between Advancing Practice in Imaging or Foundations of Radiographic Image Interpretation. Advancing Practice in Imaging, API, is a full-time campus delivery, and we usually do that on a Thursday, twice a day. And this module really develops the underpinnings of working towards advancing your practice in diagnostic imaging. And we discuss lots of groundbreaking techniques and innovations, focusing on new technologies, artificial intelligence, and concepts like that. In Foundations of Radiographic Image Interpretation, this is an interprofessional module, so it's largely a blended learning module. It does run over from A and into B as well. And this is just the concepts of starting to work within radiographic image interpretation. So you would choose between one of these. Throughout trimester A as well, we do quite a number of different induction activities for students, particularly who are on the CT and MRI modules as they move into trimester B in preparation for going on placements into CT and MRI. For all students on the programme, we also offer professional and academic development sessions to support you in being a student and a working professional throughout trimester A, and they're well attended across our programme and our advanced physiotherapy programme as well. We really want to promote your career development and your employability development whilst you're here too. Then moving on into trimester B, which is the end of January, start of February time, and you can choose between two of these modules, any two of these modules. Okay, we have the MRI or CT principles of practice of medical ultrasound, or the leadership and health and social care modules. Some of these modules are interprofessional again, and then some of them are just for diagnostic imaging students, such as MRI and CT. The MRI and the CT modules both have local supervised placement in our local hospitals. Campus delivery is usually a Thursday, but that's subject to change. And we structure it around your other modules anyway, and we structure it around your placement days too. Medical ultrasound module, that occurs in a block teaching, and there's no placement in that module. And that really is to develop your theoretical knowledge of medical ultrasounds. And then the leadership module, again, that's a large interprofessional module. You'll meet people from lots of different disciplines, and that usually is on a Tuesday. And then moving on, once you get to this time next year, trimester C is the core module in your dissertation. So this is double the credits of the other modules, and it's 60 credits. So that is a 15,000 word dissertation. You don't need to think about this too much just now, okay? This time next year, you'll be ready for that. Now, this is the academic calendar. Please do feel free, just go on to GCU and look up our academic calendar for the year so you can get a feel for when it's international orientation, into induction, and when study periods are. We have our exam diets for each trimester, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's when you'll be submitting your coursework. So they may lie out with the exam diet. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a master's student. I'm sure you're all really excited about the challenges involved in becoming a master's level student. Okay. So it really is a step up from undergraduate in many ways, and you'll feel that big leap in being more critical and thinking more deeply, certainly being more independent. Our classes are usually lively in debates, and I love learning from all of you as well in your global experiences. So you'll learn from us, and you'll learn from industry experts, and you'll learn from each other as well. But what do your classes look like? Well, sometimes we might be in large lecture theatres. There's our team induction on our first day, and this was in our biggest lecture theatre, and we welcomed everybody in those large interprofessional classes together. Other times you'll sit in smaller classrooms, and you'll sit and do some group activities together and really get to know your colleagues and produce some really good work. How does it really differ from your undergraduate studies? Some of you might have been just fresh from your undergraduate studies, and some of you might have been out of studying for a long time. So now over the summer is a good time to start thinking about what skills do you need and how can you develop those. And those might be simple things such as developing your time management skills or your writing skills and those sort of things. So what can you expect from us? Okay, you can expect us to be organised. You can certainly expect me to be very organised, and I'll be teaching on some of your modules. I teach the API module, and I'll be dissertation supervisor for some of you as well. We're really good at pointing you in the right direction of resources and reading lists. We have a fantastic library as well, and the librarians come and they teach on our courses as well. We will help you to work within groups or individually and set practical work for you that you may then come back and do presentations to your class or present posters. And we do like to support you with formal and informal feedback throughout your module as well. So we're here for you to really get the most out of your degree, the most out of yourself as well. will help you to identify your research project that you'll do in trimester C right throughout your trimester A and B, and really give you really good feedback on your courseworks in A and B that really lead into your dissertation. Of course, we do expect you to take advantage of all our extra study opportunities that we have and engage in the employability and our career development workshops as well. Common question, of course, is how are you going to be assessed? We use a variety of assessments. I'm really keen on creating assessments that are real life or publishable, and we often find that our students move on to take their essays into publications or to present at national conference. And you'll find maybe a big jump between what you did at undergraduate and what's expected of you in masters, and even just the length of an essay. You know, some essays might be 2,000 words, and then moving into that big jump to the 15,000 words for dissertation. But we are here to support you, and we're here to support you within our department and in other departments as well, in Charlotte and the Learning Development Centre and our librarian team as well. And you obviously are going to be assessed on the learning outcomes of the programme. We really put a great emphasis on you being leading what you want to study, and as long as it sits within diagnostic imaging, obviously, and reading out with the material that you're taught in the classroom. For most modules, the pass mark is normally 50%, and you might not be used to the marking criteria that we use here in the UK. You might be used to constantly receiving marks of 90% and above. But our marks tend to align to classifications, you know, of our undergrad, and we move that into postgrad as well. We expect higher, we have higher expectations of you in master's level, but again, we expect to see you. We use the marking rubrics and give you appropriate feedback at the appropriate marking level. And throughout your modules, even from the beginning, we're always like to give you constructive feedback to help you to work forward. And this might not just be in that written feedback that we give you on a coursework. We might have one-to-ones, we might have personal tutoring meetings where we discuss feedback and feed forward and ways to support you as you move right through the programme, all your different assessments into dissertation. And I do want you to think about your dissertation later, but it obviously is the accumulation of all of that study over your next year. And it's a significant part that you might be thinking about already. What can you study? What are you passionate about? And it really is an invaluable part of your master's degree, because it really is you learning to be a researcher and taking something that you're really interested in into that next level. Normally, our full-time students will be conducting a literature review for their research project, and it's vital that it matches your interests and your skills, and maybe some research, something like evidence-based that you want to take home at the end of your degree, and you want to present there, and you want to roll out that new innovation, whatever that might be. And it's quite normal, obviously, at the end of a master's degree, I'm sure you'd be expecting to submit a significant piece of work and to show what you've learned throughout your degree. Now, you might want to do some more preparation and get ready to become that master's level student as you are over the summer and before you arrive with us in September. So please do feel free to read some books in preparation. I'd also encourage you just to read journal articles. It doesn't always have to be about your what you're going to write about later. Just read, get to know writing styles, scientific journal articles. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter. I didn't put that up there. I'm Claire Currie 9 on Twitter. I tweet a lot about really interesting things that are happening in radiography currently. And I'm sure you're very excited to arrive in Scotland and what to expect there. I do like this little blog that there was about arriving in Scotland and what you would expect as an international person coming to Scotland for the first time. And most people would say it was a culture shock because of things like our food is very different, our music will be different, our Scottish accent. I'm not sure if my accent's what you were expecting too. So do try and get used to the Scottish accent and listen to some Scottish news programmes on YouTube and what have you too. And we will keep you busy, but we do hope that you enjoy Glasgow and have fun when you're here as well. Okay, so this is obviously your goal for the end of your degree. Your goal is to get to graduation and have a fabulous time. But it's not a straight path from here to this time next year. And we're here to support you. And it's absolutely okay to remember that everybody will have a bad day, that things will happen that you weren't expecting to happen. Setback or a fail is not necessarily a failure. It's just a learning point to take forward. It's okay to have a break, and we expect you to enjoy yourselves as well. Nothing is perfect, particularly when students are giving me drafts to read. I don't expect it to be perfect. You are strong. People who come here are strong right from the word go. You've got into this degree, you've moved to the other side of the world, and you are strong, definitely stronger than you think you are just by doing that alone. And small steps over that year will equal the progress and the goal setting. And please, 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 always remember that you can ask for help. Okay, that is why we're here, why I'm here, certainly. Okay, so that's me finished. I'll hand back over to Charlotte. Really looking forward to meeting you once you arrive in Glasgow. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Hi, everyone. I'll just put my slides up. Okay, it's lovely to meet you all. My name's Charlotte Craig. Thank you, Hannah and Claire, for introducing me. I am one of a team of 7 academic development tutors based in your school, the School of Health and Life Sciences and the Learning Development Centre. And it's very nice to be here today to talk to you a little bit about how we support all students on programmes within the school. And if we just take a look at some of the areas that we can help you to ensure that you're becoming independent, autonomous learners, we help you to develop and enhance a range of academic skills. And on the slide just now are just some ways in which we do that. So you may find that you look at this and you think, well, some of these things I feel like I do well already. All students who join us have different start and end points, have different strengths and weaknesses. So we're here to support all with all, a range of the things that are, you can see just now on the screen in terms of, for example, writing critical essays or your referencing. Referencing might be something that you find difficult or challenging. So we can provide sort of tips and techniques, strategies. We also can provide advice and tips on exam technique and study skills. There's other things there, reflective writing. So the way in which we do this, we support at a programme or a module level, and we come into class and we can deliver what we call embedded sessions to support if you have a assessment coming up, for example. We can come in and help break down the assignment and think about how you can get started and things that you need to think about. We also offer lots of workshops across the trimester that you can book up for yourself and come along. We also have a drop-in service and a one-to-one service if you feel that you would benefit from coming along to talk to one of the academic development tutors on a one-to-one basis. That is also a service that we offer. Moving on to just thinking about expectations, and some of these things Claire has already touched on, but just to sort of reinforce. And some things to think about. I think the expectation is that you'll begin your course with the minimum baseline English level. And a thing to think about with this is that enough? Okay. Now, whether English is your first language or not, academic English, the language that you are required to use throughout the year, is a new language for all of us. We weren't born speaking academic. So your learning journey will continue when you begin your MSc. And the most important thing, I believe, is that you arrive prepared and confident with your level and ability to read, write, listen, and speak in academic context, not just in social context. Those social contexts will help with the confidence, but it's the language and the style and the tone that that needs to be academic. So this means more creativity and independent thought, and also the ability to present interesting arguments and draw on contextually and even contemporary relevant literature. And Claire referred to her her Twitter, and she tweets interesting and articles. So I would, recommend going along there, and I'll come to some more recommendations in a while. But we also there's also an expectation that you'll begin your course with an understanding of how to write at undergraduate level. You're here, you have a place, so therefore we expect that you can already write at undergraduate level. So that means that you understand formal writing and the conventions and can use an appropriate style and tone. We also hope that you come with the understanding that there's going to be higher expectations for critical reading and thinking and writing at postgraduate level. Okay. But as Claire mentioned, we also appreciate and understand that you may be unaccustomed to some of the teaching methodologies that were used in UK universities, such as group work or seminars and debates, and that ability to question and question us, and that's okay, and that building that deeper critical thinking and writing skills. And we also expect that you'll have an understanding of academic integrity and what that means. So avoiding plagiarism, ensuring that you're citing all of the sources, academic sources that you use in your writing. So in terms of recommendations, Claire put this book up on one of her slides, and if you could all get your hands on one of these books before you come, I would recommend that you will get secondhand copies online. This is the latest edition of Academic Writing Handbook for International Students. It really is a handbook, and it's an excellent go-to guide on how to think about and different aspects of academic writing from an international student's point of view. There are copies, e-copies in the library, GCU library, but I do recommend, if you can get your hands on a paper copy to bring with you, or even an online copy, there's useful examples, there's useful sample writing in the book as well. So it is a very valuable handbook to have. Also, some other recommendations from me are, my background is in working with international students and in higher education environment, and working with students in developing their English language skills and English for academic purposes skills. And the research also tells us that reading something in English every day will help you. And as Claire mentioned, reading a journal or reading tweets, blogs, something. The evidence shows that if you're reading even just a little bit every day, your academic language and vocabulary range, your lexical range will broaden, and you will then therefore be able to produce more of the language and the lexical range that we would expect in an academic context at master's level. The Learning Development Centre offer a feel for what life is like as a university student in the School of Health and Life Sciences in a boot camp, and we run this this year. It'll be run in the start of September. You may be able to get to this. No, you will be sent an invitation to this, and if you can come along, then please do. It demonstrates sort of a day in the life of being a student and exposes you to lectures and seminars and some sessions on academic writing in general and study skills and taking notes in presentations and giving presentations, taking notes in lectures and all those types of things. We have our website, which I will pop in the chat just now because I have I realise I've got a hyperlink in there and you won't be able to open that perhaps. So this is our website. I've put in the chat just now. We have a lot of resources on critical thinking, and that really is an area that you will develop over your years. So please have a look on our website and look at our range of resources that's in there. And also think about over the summer before you come, really, just fine-tuning your English for academic purposes skills. And I've got a couple of links on the slides there. The first one is for Academic Marker. It's a lovely resource. It works on a module level. You can dip in and out. So if you feel that, for example, your reading skills need to be developed, you can click into the reading module and work through a series of activities. It's free. And it's something that you can come back to again and again. Okay, so you don't need to work through it in a logical order, so you can dip into what suits you. I've also included a link for English for Academic Study mini course on FutureLearn. So you could also go and look at that, and that is more set up like a course. And if you feel that you need the discipline of getting into, right, I need to fine tune my English for academic purposes skills before I arrive and feel more confident, then that might be somewhere that you wish to go and have a look and engage with. And then finally, as Claire says, you know, when you arrive, the accents, you'll be exposed to a range of accents. We have students from all over the world and people from all over the world living in Glasgow. So it's really important to become more accustomed to listening to different accents. So, you know, watching things on YouTube or watching things on TED, like TED Talks, for example, is a really useful way to tune your ear into different accents if that's something that you're not doing already. And that's all from me. I'll just pass you back to invite Claire back. Thank you.
We're happy if you want to ask any questions in the chat. You can type your questions in there. Or if you can switch your mic on. I don't know, Hannah, can the applicants switch their mics on, or questions in the chat?
They should be able to put their mics on if they've got any questions. Yep.
And I'll just put my email address in there again as well, so you've got it, and you can get in touch with me if you do have any questions.
I think if there's no questions, if we're all in agreement, I think we can all say that session was very informative and helpful. Thank you to everyone who attended. We will make a point of sending out the recording to all of the offer holders so that you have all of that information to hand. And if you have any questions following the webinar, Claire has kindly put in her email address and her Twitter account, so please do follow her. And Charlotte's put in some useful resources too. So thank you so much for attending, and thank you to Claire and Charlotte for your time. And if there's any follow-up at all, please just get in touch. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all. Thank you.